Hi, I'm Christy with Kapp's Kitchen, and today we're going to be making this king cake. So for this king cake, we start out with a brioche-like dough. So for that, we have melted butter, milk, a few eggs, some sugar, all-purpose flour, some yeast, and some salt. So we're going to put all of this in our mixer bowl. So I'm going to put in the milk, and 3 eggs. And so for eggs, it's best to crack the eggs into a separate bowl and then put them in one at a time. That way, if you get any eggshells or if your egg is not a good egg, it won't go into the whole dough. And you won't have to start over. So we're going to whisk these and break them up. And we're going to add in our melted butter. It's not so melted anymore. You want to make sure that the butter has cooled from melting so that the warm butter doesn't cook the eggs in the mixture. So whisk that around. And then add in the flour, sugar, salt, and yeast. And give that a stir. And then add that to the liquid. Just going to stir this a little bit to kind of get it to come together just a little bit. And then we're going to put it into the mixture. Into the mixer. Put the dough hook on the mixer. So we're going to mix the dough for about 10 minutes until it kind of comes together and forms a nice dough ball. It's been about 10 minutes, so we're going to take the dough out of the bowl and put it into our proofing container to rise for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. While our bread is rising, we're going to work on part of the filling. This recipe calls for 1 1/4 cup of pecans, toasted and ground fine. So this is a little lesson in how to read a recipe. Our recipe says pecans, comma, toasted, ground fine. When it says that, you measure the pecans first, then toast them and grind them down. If it said 1 1/4 cups toasted and ground fine pecans, then you would toast the pecans, grind them down, and then measure 1 1/4 cups. So since ours says 1 1/4 cups pecans, comma, toasted and ground, we've already measured 1 1/4 cups of pecans. So now we're going to toast them. The way we toast them is we get a skillet pretty warm, and we're just going to throw the pecans in the skillet and let them kind of get brown and kind of start to smell like toasted pecans. It'll take about 5 minutes. So we'll wait about 5 minutes, just stirring ever so often to kind of keep an eye on them. It's been 5 minutes, so we're going to take them out of the pan and let them cool for a couple of minutes before grinding them down in our food processor. It's been about 2 minutes and the pecans have cooled down a bit, so we're going to put them in our food processor and grind them down pretty fine. So at this point, you just pulse the food processor until they are finely ground, about what you would think of as ground coffee. Okay, we have our finely ground pecans. We're going to add them to a bit of brown sugar and cinnamon for the filling of the king cake. So it's been a couple of hours and our dough has risen in size, so it is time to roll it out and put the filling in it. So we're just gonna put a little flour here. We're going to stretch it out and roll it out to about an 18 by 14 rectangle. Okay, now we're ready to add the filling. So we're going to take a little atomizer, a spritz bottle of water, and just kind of give it a little bit of a wet surface for the filling to stick to. Okay, now we're going to take the pecan filling and spread it out. At this point, it's traditional to put a porcelain baby in the king cake before you roll it up. We will not be doing that today. So we're just gonna roll it much like our cinnamon swirl bread or in making cinnamon rolls. So you're gonna start with the edge closest to you and roll it together. Leave a little bit of an edge so that you can kind of seal it together once you're completely rolled. Okay, now our king cake is rolled up. We're gonna make it into a ring, which is traditional, but we're also going to put it in a bundt pan to give it more stability in rising. But before we put it in the pan, I'm going to seal the two ends together as best as I can. Okay, now we have our ring and we're going to place it in the bundt pan. Before I do that, I'm going to place it seam side up, which doesn't sound like it would make sense. Normally you bake things seam side down because typically the seam side is the ugly side. But in a bundt pan, you cook the cakes upside down. So when you go to serve it, you flip the pan upside down. So if you have an ugly side, you want to bake it up. So we're going to put the seam side up for this pan. Use the bench scraper. Okay, at this point we're going to put a little plastic wrap on top and let it rise for another hour. Okay, it's been about an hour and it's risen quite a bit more. We're going to pop it into a preheated 350-degree oven for about 30 to 35 minutes. It's been about 30-35 minutes, and as you can tell, it's nice and brown on top now. So we're going to let it rest for about 10 minutes in the pan. Then we're going to turn it out and let it finish cooling on a wire rack. We've allowed the king cake to completely cool, and so now we're going to make the white icing that goes on top. So we're going to take some confectioner's sugar and a little bit of milk and whisk, whisk, whisk until it's all nice and smooth, and then we're going to pour it over the top of the cake. Now it's finally time for the fun part. We're going to drizzle the icing over the cake. Now we're going to finish decorating the cake with the typical colors of Mardi Gras: purple, yellow, and green. Okay, we're all finished. We're going to let the frosting set, and then we will transfer it to a nice serving platter. Thanks for watching. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you're in the Denton area and would like to place an order, you can visit our website at kappskitchen.com. Feel free to comment below, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to our channel.